Welcome to Chris King Live here on Gospel Grind Radio, GospelGrind.com. I'm your host, Minister Chris King, and glad to have you and hope all is well with you tonight. I'm your host, Minister Chris King. Our special guest tonight is gospel recording artist Mel Campbell, and he has a brand new release out there called P-E-W-Pew, and it's called, he'll explain it to you, and he is our special guest tonight. And how you doing, Mel?
Hey, I'm doing great, Chris. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing great. We're glad to have you with us. And Mel has the Pew Baby project out there, and it's doing really well on the charts. I love to see our clients doing really well, and he is doing really well out there on several charts, iTunes and Google Play and some others. And he's our special guest tonight. Now, Mel, familiarize yourself with us. Tell us who you are, and tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I hail from Normal, Illinois. I know a lot of people, when they think of Illinois, they just think Chicago. But Normal is basically just this little cornfield smack dab in the middle. I'm a student at Illinois State University, and I've been in church all my life. I've been playing bass since I was 11 years old, and I'm currently the music director at Christ Temple Church in Illinois. And I come from a huge musical background with my family. My mother has been highly involved in the music ministry as a director, and she's also gotten a chance to do some recording in the past.
Awesome.
That's just in my blood, man. Gospel is all I know. Church is all I know.
Amen. Powerful, man. That's good. I love some good church, and it's in you. It's in your blood. It's in you. So that's good. That's awesome, man. Mel Campbell is our special guest here tonight. Here on Chris King Live here on Gospel Grind Radio, GospelGrind.com, and they're glad to have him. He has a brand new project out called Pew Baby, and we're going to talk more about it in just a minute. Now, Mel, tell us how you got into gospel music. I know you had a previous release as well. Tell us a bit about that.
It's kind of funny because, like I said, gospel has just been always a part of my life, but and I've always been in the church. I actually was pursuing and going hard after other forms of ministry and artistic ministry, and it really wasn't until my senior year of high school that I decided to get serious about the music side of it. It was actually, I don't know if y'all remember that old song, Restoration by the Winans.
Yes.
It got me hooked on them for a while, and then something about me going back and just studying that old school contemporary gospel and the meat and the depth and those lyrics and the ministry behind it, it stirred up a fire inside of me. It really got me spiritually heightened and hyped again, and then it was like, well, I feel like I got something to say. I really want to go after this. I wanted to be just a writer at first, but
yes.
I didn't want to sell my material, and then it turns into something else that I didn't necessarily intend, and the ministry gets lost and the feel gets lost. So I'm really kind of an artist as a means to an end to really get the message out.
Awesome. And that's good that you have a heart for ministry and a heart for getting the gospel out and getting the music and the ministry out. Mel Campbell is our special guest tonight here on Chris King Live, here on Gospel Grind Radio, GospelGrind.com. And his full-length album is out. We've been waiting on it for like 3 or 4 months now. I've been talking about it, and he's our special guest tonight. Now, Mel, tell us a little bit about your testimony a little bit. Tell us, I know you've been in the church, but tell us maybe something that you've overcome in your life that I know contributed to you having that personal experience in this album.
I will say one thing that I've really been standing on for the last couple of years, and it definitely shows in this album, is my commitment to the Lord, and that's really what my testimony has been these last few years. Like I said, I really started this year of high school, and at that point, as I was growing up, I was seeing a lot of my friends and a lot of people I grew up in the church starting to stray away. And it just got to a point where it almost felt like I felt this sense of solitude and a little bit of loneliness I really had to deal with. And I had to come to within myself that I had to trust that no matter who was around, no matter who was with me, that God was with me always and that I could lean on Him. And so we got songs on the project like Got My Rock, where it talks about how I can't put my trust in anything else but my God and put my faith all in Him. And even other songs that just explain my love and my dedication for Him, like Father's Arms, and just talking about how I can rest in my Lord and really feel no worry and not even think about those things anymore. I have peace. I have joy just knowing that I got just my Jesus. Or even Hey, a track on the title track, the #1 track, Hey, talking about just my love and me exclaiming all that He's done for me and why I go so hard for Him.
Yes. Mel Campbell is our special guest tonight. We're excited to have him, and he's excited too. We're glad to have him here on Chris King Live, here on Gospel Grind Radio, GospelGrind.com. And he has a brand new project out called Pew Baby, and he is our special guest with us tonight. Now, tell us, Now, Mel, tell us a little bit about the release concert you had before we get into talking about the music itself. Tell us a little bit about the release concert you just had.
Oh, the release concert was phenomenal. We've been prepping for this thing really ever since I got out of my last studio day in December. Most of my band members, actually, they're not even in my city. They live farther up north, more closer towards Chicago. So I was taking off Saturdays and driving up and down and really rehearsing and trying to just bring a new life to the song. It's funny, even though a lot of the material, when we performed it, since it dropped the same day as the album, people hadn't even heard the new music. But I know I wanted to hit it hard. I wanted Jesus just to be in it and have His Spirit rest in it from beginning to end. So even in the midst of us rehearsing, I was fasting, I was praying, and I was really just trying to get in a space where I could be free to just let the Holy Spirit just rest in that place. And He showed up and showed out. We had a packed out house in my home church.
Wow.
And it's funny because I know I'm a new artist, I'm an up-and-comer, and people don't really know me like that. But for us to have a concert that was virtually 3 hours long, and my set alone, just because of the moves we had, was about 2 hours.
Wow.
To be able to hold the people and for them to just be right there with me and go into worship with me was just incredible. It still feels like a dream.
Man, that's powerful. We have up-and-coming gospel recording artist Mel Campbell with us here on Chris King Live, and man, had a powerful concert and sold out, packed out, and he's our special guest tonight here on Chris King Live. Now, tell us about the brand new project itself. Pew Baby, tell us what Pew stands for, and tell us where you got the concept from as well.
Well, Pew Baby, it's actually an acronym, the word Pew. So we've separated it as personal experience worship. And it's funny because the meaning every other day kind of changes for me. It started off just as a way to kind of classify the album. If you look at how the songs are in order and how they flow, you have the first section which talks about personal, so songs dealing with the believer and even the unbeliever on a personal standpoint in their relationship with God. You got experience, things that believers and unbelievers go through, and then worship at the very end. And it's funny because even though the album kind of separates those three things, I kind of feel that the way it flows and the way it goes together, the album also serves as an explanation as to why we worship and as to why we praise God, because of all the things we've gone through personally and all the things we've witnessed and all the trials and tribulations He's brought us through, and why we sing, why we praise. And I throw the baby on there because, it is the old phrase, a pew baby, someone who grew up in the church. But I'm a pew baby.
Yes. Awesome. Mel Campbell's our special guest here on Chris King Live here on Gospel Grind Radio, gospelgrind.com, and he's our special guest tonight. And, has a great project out called Pew Baby. You need to go get it. It's awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about these songs. We've been playing Hey. People are loving Hey. Tell us a little bit about Hey as well as Oasis and some of the others that you have.
Absolutely. Hey was one of those songs I was actually on my way to an engagement, and the Lord just dropped it in my spirit. There's a part right at the end of the verses that goes, "That's why I love Him like I do." And it was kind of weird to get that first, but it prompted me to really sit down with that idea and really just start listing out all these reasons. Well, okay, why do I love Jesus? Why do I live the life that I live? And I think, one of the main verses is, how can it be He blesses me even in the midst of my wrong? When I've had enough and times are tough, He still gives me a song. And those are just a few of the reasons why I love God. And I really plan for that song to be kind of an anthem for believers and those who do love the Lord, something that they can go through, and it really kind of touches every corner of everybody's testimony.
Yes, it does. It's powerful. It's a very exciting, upbeat type of anthem and song, and really gets you going. And we've had people saying, man, you can't stop playing it. We got to play it over and over again. So that's awesome.